It's about my time working at Riverside Casino. Has anyone actually been to Riverside Casino?
All the time.
Kevin has.
Right. So this is about when I worked there as a cocktail waitress. Riverside Casino. I want to shake an old woman's shoulders, say, Vespers, say, this coin tray. Boring circling. I arrange poker chip tips to form the letter F. I don't have enough for the letter E. The difference between a vowel and a consonant is $2. On occasion, beauty happens when something presses. My feet callous. Maria Callas raised her tessitura with practice. What needs brewing is coffee. That empty Miller Lite Shelley Long would have bypassed in the Cheers pilot. I think coloratura. I make the coffee. I say cocktails, beverages. My frontispiece sallies forth. A man lights 2 cigarettes in his mouth at once. Double Dragon was difficult to beat because of falling over bridges. 1-inch heels, cinched waist. I say clocktails and check my watch. I say slut machine and reflect on my past. A one-armed senior in a Disney cap says, I thank you from my depths, but no quarter drops from his stump. Shrimp mania, heart live. Lingerie party invite from a female janitor. If a river could lie down on its side, I'd lie down too, beneath so many stacked branches. Drinks mnemonics. Look out for the whiskey rocks, oh, Bloody Mary.
Yes!
There's a wheelchair at Wheel of Fortune. There's a pregnant belly against hot, hot penny. If a river, I say. Miles to go. I went to school with a girl who died drunk at age 26 on Route 29. Bring me luck. Bring me matches. I break out the other waitresses. I feel buccaneered by way of punishment. I think the river is a tawny missile. The carpet is maroon. A craps player tips me a nickel as the chorus to Honky Cat comes on. Oh, the change is going to do me good. Trigger the bonus. Such synchronicity suggests the random number generator might just bless us. When a robot too closely resembles a human, we enter the uncanny valley. I entered it twice already this morning. I found a fountain going off, old men secured to machines by retractable cords. Nothing's lonelier, not even a pair of whales retracing the path of their dead mother. And this is another newish poem. It's called Who's Standing? Who's standing or yammering or disproportionate to feeling? Miss Manners says if you're isolated, introduce yourself. Pursue lunch. Don't fuck other people. Glass is a poor producer of light. You and your incandescent legs. I'm going to violently attack this lettuce now. I'm going to push in this chair for myself. In this spoon, my hair looks frowsy. In this one, all-knowing. Another unfitting response option, namaste. Forget the ad guest dilemma. Is that sofa sectional? Context was when I offered you my wrist. And I'll read a few from the chapbook too. I also worked at Disney World for a summer, and I wanted to write a poem where I tried to incorporate all 7 dwarves. It's called, who doesn't, right? It's called 7 Years Could Pass for 7 Dwarves. The bashful year I snuck away from parties to steal his coat, put on his scent. Then the sleepy year of snowplows and Mennonites. My blood circulated poorly, so I kept under quilts. Across the field, abandoned sheds huddled the color of lavender, and I fed self-destructively off the happy year. Thoughts of azalea and mallard and the wrought iron veranda with my carved initials, ARM. I believed I could change my name to Art or Ark as long as I remained a vessel for something. But the next year I crawled inside a cabinet, felt it locked from behind. From a small oaken hole was a sharpshooter's view of a Valentine's balloon risen to the ceiling. Who am I kidding? I loved in a glass-bottomed boat on land. I lived on a slant of roots and shale, and whenever I tried to push off to convince myself of still being a vessel, the boat buried deeper. I had to walk on oars like crutches. I got so sick that any gauze would do. A doctor doing triage on his lawn picked me first by sound, not sight, wrapped me up in parachute. Oh, but my calm grew crabbed. I rattled like an anvil. I morsed out the last year on the roof of my mouth in the racket of a slick baby bird rending its shell. He was kicking the ball by the old mill road when I finally rose to leave him, shot him instead. This was just before the jumpiness, the sneeze and the cracked sugar bowl, the mirror at my feet. And I'll read a few of the sonnets. This one is called The Crocodile Hunter, and it has an epigraph from Steve Irwin, and I'll try to do the voice. Yes. I'll try. Even if a big old alligator is chewing me up, I want to go down and go crikey just before I die. That would be the ultimate for me. The stingray stabbed your heart. You expected claw and welter, where instead a barbed spike. At upturned tails punctured, did erected faith fall. You never could distinguish like from love. Only shallows heard your toxic call. What word went? Fatal stun and hover, not unlike the rest. Old cardiac adrenaline push, sense and water same. Did you surface? When I read you pulled the creature sword from chest, finally leapt from my holeless heart the dread of a lulled life. Long mindful of aftermath, I've kept calm. Unassailable, I've held at bay some animal. This is another sonnet called Insomnia. In the dark, your deer shed antlers. First they hook my ribs with browning tines until my chest gives, until its chandelier loosens. My crystalline swings open your throat, the oval of an unbreakable egg, and for a moment we mirror our air, we align. Do I lag behind? I've forgotten myself like a glove deep in the snow of you, who aren't the wintry shelf of other men I know, but I count restless deer. They leap the bed, crownless, while you sleep. And I'll read two more. This is also a sonnet about my time living in the East Village in Manhattan. This is my actual address. It was Madonna Street, too. 203 East 4th. I write you from a dense island. Ships skirt the pratfall shore, then grow distant. I grow inventive. Prey radio sleeps in the coconut's core. Can waves refuse what they carry, manage without baggage? I've lost how to row. Flat palms vise the hot air, sostenuto. The same sun that drowns rises, dripping. Shells protrude like tusks or oars. I string colors together, rope starlit necklaces of auger, cuttlebone. Sweat salts my eyes to tears, that, in the hours spent alone. You might forget me completely. I write you from regret. And this final one is called One Night Stand. Here, I'll go first. One night stoned in Vancouver, I went to bed with another poet. He mailed me a sonnet sequence, made me a one-night stanza. Now you try. Tell me about your one-night stun, her foxglove flush, how your body's cocked perfectly. You promised words like perennial with your tongue. Your thighs had Appalachia written all over them. Now tell me why it didn't last. That ceiling's heart watermark, reflected in the silvered mirror, attached to the room's one nightstand, is like a picture postcard. I carry mine too. It's a shame we've nowhere to send them. Once I ruined the sheets of an Italian. I bled all over his fine thread count. I made a slot of his body, hoping to mail what I couldn't bury. That was my one-night stain. Don't worry, I'm not sorry we're migrating birds. I just need a second. I always offer the seat to the less fortunate. I stand for the passing emissary. I'm the last one left in the spelling bee. V-A-D-E. An anagram of Dave. I've had 3. Isn't it fun to fold at the knees? Isn't the sun a vision and fire? One man flamed for me like that, but sudden went sorrel out. Goodbye, darling. I think you are simply fleeting. Thank you. Hey!